again are you seeing in terms of the dark side of leadership, particularly the cultural elements of the leadership in Africa? And I say that because I know that culture cannot be separated from leadership to a large extent. What are the dark sides you're seeing from your viewpoint in South Africa that we can learn from on the West Coast, or for people who are listening in from the East Coast of Africa or from the North of Africa? What are those dark sides of leadership in terms of our culture that we need to put aside? And I'm saying now looking Pan-African because of AfTA, this our African Continental Free Trade thing. It's a magnificent opportunity for Africa to help itself. And if we would do that, we have to, like you said, begin to engage across boundaries, talk to each other like we're doing right now, and then begin to look at where the commonalities are and where the pitfalls of our leadership. So from your own conversations with leaders, what are the dark sides of our cultural approaches to leadership that we need to pay attention to as leaders?
Yeah, I think what seems to stand out, Akin, and this is a sensitive topic, of course, it can be, but if we're mature about it, then we've got to be honest about it,
I like to put you on the spot on that one.
Honesty requires huge maturity, and I think I'm not sure that we have kept our identity as a continent, as countries inside Africa. We are very Americanized, and of course the screen has a lot to do with that over the last few decades. We have allowed ourselves, and maybe we've always been a bit like this, to become way too materialistic as leaders. So what happens is when you come into a leadership position, your real motives under pressure, remember, seamless leadership, authentic desires, okay, knowing your best self and acting according to that best self, so that you can create consistent performance, and to take that consistent performance to impossibility, not just consistently, slowly growing by 6%, 3%, whatever, but to actually take. So when you implement those four, our problem is when leaders come into power on our continent, and it's all over the world, materialism, the real desires that I have for wanting to be in a position of power comes to the fore. You change. We've seen people like Thabo Mbeki, who used to smile and have a sense of humor, become so serious and inwardly focused in his presidential position. We've seen people change in that position all over. Power changes you because of the pressure you're under. So if you're not anchored in your best self, anchored in your desires, being pure, you get swept away from your culture, from your values that matter most. And I think we've allowed ourselves to materialize, to become materialistic as a continent, to be influenced by Western values. And there's good from West, there's good from East, there's good from North, there's good from South. But we've got to understand our culture and be true to those good, solid values that frankly build our best self, that frankly adds value to our best self. We can't abandon those. So the dark side comes to the fore. It's rooted in your desires. It's rooted in what you really want as a leader. So we've got to create leadership fitness, where leaders not only discover their best selves and make sure their desires are accurate and so on, but that they remain there. Because I can tell you of great leaders who had all that, and then they suddenly go into these amazing positions and they change and they become cynical and they become distrusting because others want to take over their positions and they're lobbying to get rid of them. People just change. So I don't know if that answers your question, but as a continent, our identity is a little bit confused. Our identity is not a confident one. We're not confident in who we are. And America, in some ways, they're confident. They have economic climb to the top, step on people if you need to. It's a very aggressive, ambitious, yeah, you can achieve anything you want kind of attitude. But here's the truth. In South Africa, our unemployment rate is between 30 and 40% and maybe higher. Our more than 50% of the country are in poverty line, We can't adopt the Western models as leaders. We cannot do that. You cannot have these incredible salary discrepancies, and yet the environment out there is just riddled with poverty and people that need help and need you to give back as a human being and as a leader. Well, in America, it's different. It's the other way around to a large degree, and a lot of the Western society and developed economy. So we've got to realize that that we must give back as leaders. We can't just become wealthy and stand on a pedestal and think we're great because we have a lot of wealth. We've got to give back.